Welcome into the Sic Em Podcast. I'm your host, John Morris. From the time he started playing baseball, Enzo Apodaca has always tried to stay true to himself and play his own brand of ball.
I think that my game kind of is a little bit different from everybody else. One thing that I try not to be is I don't try to be somebody else. I try to be my own self, and I know who I am and just translate that onto the field.
After earning freshman All-American honors and adding a Cape Cod League All-Star nod to his resume, Apodaca entered the transfer portal and found a new home at Baylor.
I want to be a big leader on this team. I have some experience collegiately, and I just look forward to being a team player and a good leader.
Now in his junior year, he's hoping to provide leadership and confidence to a Baylor baseball team with a lot to prove.
We're excited to prove something, for sure. And we're so excited to just get started. We're so excited to play so many top name teams. Our goal is to win a national championship, and I believe that we will do big things this year.
Welcome to Baylor. Welcome to the Sic Em Podcast. Enzo Apodaca, glad you're here. From Scottsdale, Arizona, originally through Gonzaga, and now here to Baylor. Let's go back to the beginning. Growing up, did you grow up in the Scottsdale area?
I did. I moved to Scottsdale about when I was 6 or 7 years old. Basically was raised there, spent my whole life there. Grew up as a kid, developed all my friends. And Scottsdale's still my home. I was originally born in San Diego,
okay.
But Scottsdale's to my home, and I always look forward to going back home for like holidays and seeing friends and family, of course.
It's a great area. We were talking about like major league spring training sites around there. Did you go to some of those games growing up?
Oh yes, I went to a lot of D-backs and Rockies spring training games. Their complex is located like 5 minutes away from my house, so it was such an easy drive going. And that whole time in Arizona during spring training is just so much fun. A bunch of people come in from across the country, just fill up the town. The energy is really cool. So that's a great time to be in Arizona as well.
Yeah, that's a great area. We played out there in the Fiesta Bowl. Baylor did a few years ago, and it was really a great trip. So I know a little bit of where you're coming from. How about growing up? What was that like? What stands out to you?
Man, I would say for sure, growing up, I remember just the heat in Arizona, for sure.
Right.
Like I said before, I was born in San Diego, so I didn't really have to deal with the heat too much. But then again, I was still young. But I remember when we first moved to Arizona, I just remember the heat being, I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? Like, it felt like I was just getting melted alive out there. But over time, like, you're used to it. I tell so many guys, like, I'd rather play in 120-degree weather than, like, 20-degree weather.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just used to it. A lot of guys are saying, like, 85 is hot, and I'm like, oh, that's a perfect day. That's a perfect day.
When did you get to Waco?
I got to Waco in the end of August,
okay.
I believe.
Okay.
End of August.
So you had a taste of the end of the summer here in Waco. Compare Texas heat to Arizona heat.
Correct. Texas heat, for sure, more humid.
Yeah.
Arizona heat's a little bit more dry, but as soon as you step out here, you start sweating. That was the only difference. But Arizona is just dry heat. You kind of just like live with it, but Texas heat, you kind of sweat it off a little bit.
Gotcha. Growing up, did you play all sports? Were you just baseball, or what do you remember about that?
Yeah, so I grew up playing soccer and baseball. I would play each sport at the same time. I remember to this day, I would get done with a soccer game. My dad would drive me over to baseball. And then there came to be a time where I had to pick one. I couldn't spend my time doing both. I believe I was like around 12, 11 years old when I made that decision. And I decided to play baseball. You know, I loved baseball. I loved just hitting those balls. You know, I thought it was just the best thing in the world. And I'm so glad I stuck with it. Made a great decision back then.
Sounds like the right decision for you. Were you, was your dad a player, baseball player or anything? I mean, where'd you get the love for baseball?
Yeah, so my family just played baseball. My dad played in high school, a little bit at the junior college level. My uncle has all played baseball, so baseball's in our blood a little bit. And my dad wanted me to be a baseball player, actually made me to be left-handed, swing from the left-handed side of the plate. So I wouldn't have to deal with those curveballs from the righty. But yeah, I mean, baseball has just been brought up to me ever since I was a kid. You know, I was swinging bats when I was little, watching teams when I was little, watching games on MLB and ESPN with my dad. So it's really been brought up to me. It's been bred through me.
That's fun. Any favorite? Were the Diamondbacks your favorite team or somebody else?
No, surprisingly not. I'm actually a Yankee fan.
Oh,
I may get a lot of
okay.
heat for that, but I'm a Yankee fan. That got passed down to me from my dad as well. So I've been a Yankee fan my whole life. Diamondbacks, I root for them every now and then, like in the World Series. I wanted them. Yeah, it's, Texas Rangers fans. I got a lot of heat for that when they're playing each other. But D-backs, I can root for them every now and then. But Yankees have my heart.
Did you pattern your game after anybody in particular, or any players that you really liked?
Man, Not particularly. I think that my game kind of is a little bit different from everybody else. One thing that I try not to be is I don't try to be somebody else. I try to be my own self. Whether if it's, prolonging at bats, getting on base, stealing, hitting doubles. I'm not a big guy. I'm undersized. I'm not known to hit home runs. And instead of trying to do that, trying to be somebody else, I just try to stay within who I am, and I know who I am, and just translate that onto the field.
So Scottsdale, Chaparral High School. Am I right? There's a pretty good history of pro guys coming out of Chaparral.
There is. There are a lot of some of them are older guys. I know Paul Konerko is definitely one to stick out for sure. But Chaparral has been a great program over the past years. I enjoyed my time there. They're pretty much my family still to this day. I still keep in touch with my senior coach. To this day, he's one of the best coaches that I've had. We've built a great relationship. Every time I go back home for winter break or Thanksgiving and try to connect with him, see him at the field, get some reps out there and just talk shop with him. So it's awesome. That's
good. In high school, is it kind of, with the weather in Arizona, is it pretty much year-round baseball?
Yeah, I would say it's year-round. We're pretty much go all year round. In the summer, we're doing summer league and travel ball. In the fall, we're practicing for high school, and even sometimes we get put into tournaments in the fall. And you don't really get much of a break
right.
In Arizona, especially because we got great weather. You got nothing to really worry about.
That's fun. Coming out of high school, you chose Gonzaga. What was the draw there? What did you like about Gonzaga baseball?
Yeah, so it's a little bit interesting. So I wasn't heavily recruited at all in high school. I committed my senior year, and actually my senior year was hindered to COVID-19, and it canceled out my whole entire senior year, unfortunately, and I happened to commit to Gonzaga probably like 5 days before shutdown and quarantine happened.
Wow.
And Gonzaga was my only offer out of high school, and I wanted to go somewhere out of state. I wanted to kind of leave the bird's nest a little bit, kind of, live a little, get to see what the world was. And, I was excited to go to Gonzaga, and I'm really thankful for my time there. The weather for sure was a little bit different because, Pacific Northwest, a little colder for sure. Got some snow, got to experience some snow. But, yeah, like I said, Gonzaga was my pick out of high school.
And you step right into the COVID year, which was rough on everybody. What was that like for you to go through?
Oh, it was really rough. I still remember to this day the text that we got saying that our senior year was canceled.
Yeah.
It really just left like a big spot in like all of our seniors' hearts. Especially for the guys that wanted to play college ball and didn't get that opportunity. I remember just being so in disbelief. I was never at home thinking that there was going to be some opportunity, some way, like, oh, this isn't happening, it's going to change. But obviously it didn't, and I just got to give thanks to the Lord for actually setting me up with a plan right before that shutdown happened. But it was definitely crazy for sure.
That's wild. Get to Gonzaga, great freshman year, freshman All-American, WCC All-Freshman. How did you do that? How did you step in at the next level and have such a great freshman year?
Yeah, so I think that it had to do a lot with just watching the older guys in front of me. I was able to learn and pick their brains a little bit from that year. And I also learned throughout summer ball, when we play summer ball, we get sent off to summer league teams. I also learned to deal with a little bit of failure too. Before in my high school, I was a little bit young and immature, and would get a little emotional at times. And with baseball being such a hard sport, you got to have that brain figured out. You got to have that mental game figured out. And that's something, you know, we can all work at, I feel like, in the game because it's so important. I think just overcoming, you know, just a little bit failures and mistakes, you know, it happens. And I think that had a lot to do with my freshman success.
Good. Great year there. You're looking at the transfer portal. As soon as that opens up, Baylor's an opportunity, an option for you. What was the draw to get to Baylor?
Yeah, so even in high school, I've always dreamed about playing Division I baseball at the highest level in Power 5 conference. And, you know, the Big 12 is a prestigious conference, you know, in all sports. And I wanted to take that chance on myself to go try and play in that conference and try to play at the best level of college baseball with top players, top hitters. And I really just wanted to go to a Christ-centered school as well. You know, that's really important to me and my family. My faith has a big role in who I am and how I was raised. And my older sister went here as well. She graduated in 2020. So she was a song leader on Spirit Squad, I believe, and I was here a few times before.
Were you? Yeah,
when we went to visit her for family weekend coming up. So I've been to Waco a few times and Baylor. So I had somewhat of familiarity with how the school was, school's values, you know, the community of Waco and the community of Baylor, and I just wanted to be a part of it. So that had so much to do with my decision.
Good. When you, you know, when it becomes formal, you know, transfer portal, come and visit, was it everything you thought it would be, you know, in that initial visit to Baylor?
It was. Actually, the portal was a lot more stressful than you may believe. I mean, I know the portal's just going crazy right now.
Right.
With, you know, a bunch of just schools coming in, especially I was in the portal during summer ball, so we have other teammates who are also in the portal talking about what schools are reaching out. And it was definitely a lot more stressful than, you know, most people may seem.
I bet.
It's kind of just going through that recruiting process again because you only got one chance at the portal, so you want to make sure that your decision is going to be home. It's a perfect fit.
Very good. You mentioned summer ball. Did you play in the Cape Cod League?
I did. I played this past year with the YD Red Sox.
Okay. Wood bat, right?
Wood bat.
At Cape Cod. What was that like for you? What's that experience like?
It was absolutely unbelievable. You know, getting a chance to just play and see the talent that they produce out there in that league is just unbelievable. And the relationships you build out there is just unbelievable as well. You know, some of the guys that I've played with this past year and even past summers, like I still keep in touch with all to this day. And, you know, summer ball is just such a big opportunity, especially playing at that league. And, you know, I was honored to play and just enjoy my time up there. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah. Just make relationships with my host family as well. Yeah. Keep in touch with them all the time. But it was an amazing experience.
You playing every night? Playing games every night?
In the summer league, at the Cape Cod, we did a little bit of rotation.
Okay.
So we didn't play every night like some other summer leagues would, because there's so many great talent out there, so many great players. So there's a little bit of rotation, so every guy kind of gets their fair share of looks from the scouts that may be in the games, from scouts of other universities that are in the game, that are at the games attending for guys looking up there in the portal. But I mean, it was awesome. Sitting playing or just watching other guys play, it was awesome.
Good. Catch us up on your sister Rain, who graduated from Baylor, kind of led your way here, and you followed her. How's she doing post Baylor?
Oh, she's doing great. She's working in New York. She works for a sustainable fashion company. So she's been there since, I believe, after graduation, because I remember her interning, I believe, with that same company, and they offered her a job. So she's been doing great. She loves it there. She actually is recently engaged and plans to get married pretty soon.
Big news.
To another Baylor Bear.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we're a Baylor family.
Love it.
But she's doing great. I try to keep in touch with her every now and then. She knows I'm busy, and I know she's busy.
Good. Song leader success story right there. What about Coach Thompson and the staff here? How's that working out for you?
Oh, Coach T and entire staff, they were super welcoming to me. I believe that it was such a big difference coming here because I believe that they really care about every one of us. They care about not who we are as a player, but who we are as a person as well, off the field stuff. They care about getting to know us, what our interests are. And I think that's something so important, just learn to connect with your players. And that's something that I was able to see here. And that made me feel comfortable on the field and play like I wasn't walking on eggshells. So they've been great. I think that they know their stuff a lot, that they're great coaches. Our goal is to win a national championship. And I believe that we will do big things this year, and I just love the coaching staff and Coach T.
Good. You got to like that. Got you in right field right now, is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. You always been an outfielder?
Always been an outfielder. I was originally first base, in the Little League eras.
Right.
Got moved to the outfield when everyone started growing a little bit. But always been an outfielder, always been fast. So covering ground out there was always kind of my job. So I spent my entire high school and college career just playing outfield. I can play center, left, right, anywhere. Doesn't matter. As long as I'm out there, I'll be happy and cheering on just our pitcher and all of our guys out there.
Great. How do you feel about practice leading up to the start of the season? As we record this, you're about ready to start the season. Feel good about you guys being prepared to start?
Oh, yeah, sir. We were so excited. Guys in the locker room are just itching to get at it. We're all ready. I feel like we're ready and we're prepared, and we're just so excited to get going. We're excited to prove something for sure. Coming back from last year, obviously I wasn't here for last year, but we got something to prove, and we're so excited to just get started. We're so excited to play so many top name teams, to just compete against best players and best coaches in the world, and we're just itching to get at it.
What's the strength of your game? If you had to describe your game to somebody, what would that be?
Man, I would say I'm tough to strike out a little bit.
Okay,
It goes back to just how I was brought up from my dad as a kid. I was told to always, get on base, walk, get some base hits, doubles. There we go, and it was just. It's always been my game. It's always been how I've been taught, and I would say probably just striking out. Hopefully that says what I said in my stats, but
that's a plus.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
You sound like a leadoff man. Are you in the leadoff spot?
I am as of right now. I've been hitting leadoff pretty much past 4 years. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite spot to hit in the lineup. I love setting the tone early, being the first hitter of the game. It's probably my favorite part to it.
Yeah. We've had some great leadoff hitters in the history of Baylor baseball. If you ever meet John Topolsky, now this is going back a ways, but he's the best leadoff hitter ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he'll be around at some point. You'll get to meet him. Ask Coach T about John Topolsky.
Oh, yeah, perfect. You have to pick his brain a little bit.
Exactly. But that's such a key spot in the lineup. You really do, yes, set the table, but set the tone, really, being the first guy at the plate.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's one, like I said, it's one of the most important positions in the lineup, I believe. If that leadoff guy gets on without any outs, there's a good chance that run's going to score.
Tough schedule for you guys. Starting out, you're going to play that tournament at Globe Life Field. What's that going to be like to be in Major League ballpark to open the season?
Oh, it would be super exciting. I've never played in a Major League field before. And especially Globe Life, like that's an amazing field to play at, and it's going to be great. I'm so excited to go. I bet the atmosphere is going to be absolutely unbelievable. I can't wait to hear the ping of the bat in that loud enclosed arena. Just seeing the Rangers playing there, and then I'm thinking in my head, wow, I'm going to be playing in that same place. It's just unbelievable, and I'm super excited.
All right, I'm told you like EDM music. Is that correct?
I do, yes.
Okay.
I love EDM and house music. I'm kind of known to be the DJ for that type of genre of music in the locker room.
All right.
Just something to get the boys riled up and feeling good about themselves. Yeah. It gets everyone excited. It gets me excited, and I just love that type of music.
So you got some walk-up music picked out yet?
I do. One of them is an EDM song.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of good things from other people saying that they like it. I for sure like it because I picked it, but they said that I did a great job picking that song. So that's all good.
We'll listen for that. That's great. What do you? Any other hobbies? What do you like to do away from baseball?
Yeah. So I like to go thrifting a lot. I like to paint shoes as well. I have my own shoes painted right here, actually. And I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm a huge sucker for Star Wars. I love it. I liked it when I was a kid, you know, and it just stuck with me. I'm just so interested in like just the background stuff. I'm such a like big nerd for Star Wars. And no one would guess that too.
Yeah.
Everyone is surprised when I tell them that I'm a big Star Wars fan. They're like, really? I would have never guessed. Yeah,
anything collectible, Star Wars collectible that you have?
When I was a kid, I had all these action figures of Star Wars, and I believe I still have them somewhere buried in my closet. But I remember just playing with them, setting that imagination goes as a kid, and just having like an all-out war with like the action figures. And you know, it may just look like just some toys propped up, but in my head it was like a real thing in a real movie. But it was awesome. Yeah, action figures.
All right, I know you just got here to Baylor, but a question we like to ask everyone on the Sic Em Podcast: when your time at Baylor is done, how would you like to be remembered? How would you like Baylor fans to remember Enzo Apodaca?
I would love for them to remember just being a competitor and being a team player. I would say I would just I want to be a big leader on this team. You know, I have some experience collegiately, and I just look forward to being a team player and a good leader. Bring some of the younger guys up, trying to make kids better, trying to make my teammates better, trying to push my fellow outfielders as well, and just trying to get every like last bit of ounce out of work out of other people. So I would love to be remembered as that.
We're glad you're here. Hope you have a great season.
Thank you, John. Thank you so much.
Thanks again for joining us on the Sic Em Podcast, a sport and story production. If you enjoyed this conversation with Enzo Apodaca, head over to BaylorPlus.com where you can watch the premium video version of this podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcast, leave a review, and tell your friends about us. I'm your host, John Morris, and I hope you'll join me next week on another edition of the Sic Em Podcast.